Hi again, Mullen fans. I hope you're all doing really well. So I guess it wouldn't be a Mullen Monday without a sort of red start to the week. Obviously joking there a little bit, but it looks like we're going to have a bit of a flat to red finish. The stock's been down all day. It's really hard to always predict what's this behind. Is it the fact that we had like a bit of a surge on Friday and we're giving back gains, or is it because of Lawrence Hardge's tell-all interview that happened over the weekend? Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the company at the moment, but I want to give like my take on the about 1 hour conversation that was had with Lawrence Hardge, and him opening up about everything and his dealings with Mullen and other companies, and just trying to bring some clarity, or at least his version of clarity, to what's going on. Now, I've kind of talked about Lawrence Hardge a lot in here. I know a lot of people don't like to have his name associated with the company because they tend to think bad things are coming, but whether you like it or not, he's kind of playing a bit of a role in the public side of the company. And, that 1 hour interview he did over the weekend, in many senses, it became a bit of a mudslinging match, I thought. So I'll just sort of give my take on the interview first. But Lawrence Hardge, I did appreciate that he kind of came and gave a very clear account of what he thought happens, like over the past, regarding the development of his technology, the different partner dealers that he was looking at, Ford, whether it was the Rothschilds, or he talked a bit about Saudi Arabia, and then he also obviously talked a lot about Mullen. And like, to me, it was quite interesting to see that the value of his technology seemed to start really high with Ford, and then it kind of petered away a little bit. And perhaps that was a sign of other companies seeing that there might be a bit of a problem with the technology, or whether it is something that's being a bit shady from Lawrence Hardge and his dealings, and maybe the technology isn't as legitimate as he has been making it out to be. Anyway, what I did appreciate, though, is that the way Lawrence Hardge sort of came to tell the story was that he did say it with a lot of clarity, and sort of spoke about a lot of used a lot of industry knowledge and product knowledge, which I think was quite accessible. You could understand what he was saying, and it kind of at least makes sense what he was saying. It wasn't like a illogical sort of narrative of his version of events. So that was good. Obviously, it's one side, and there's people will pick it apart and say what was wrong with what he said, and what was wrong with that recount of events. And that's kind of what happened in the conversation. Now, there was someone from Mullen who did get on the call. I can't remember their name, actually. If anyone remembers their name, just mention it in the comments. But he got on the call towards the end of it, and him and Lawrence kind of had a sort of heated exchange about what they are allowed to say about the dealings between Lawrence Hardge and Mullen Automotive. And the whole thing that came out, that Lawrence Hardge is doing this purely to kind of clear his name, because he hates that it's being dragged through the mud, as well as like his team of engineers and those who work for him. The person from Mullen, kind of sort of said that, like, well, the whole thing was your technology doesn't work. And so it's kind of, we got both sides presented very clearly here, both from Mullen and from Lawrence Hardge, although I dare say that the opinion from Mullen wasn't, on the record as an official account. But, the fact that he kind of went after Lawrence Hardge, saying that he couldn't prove that his technology worked. So that was the mudslinging thing. And before the guy from Mullen got on the phone, it was quite like I was having quite like a sort of peaceful time, just absorbing what Lawrence Hardge was saying. And then it's like, whoa, it just got like high drama sort of out of nowhere. But it was interesting. I think we kind of really got both sides of the story from Mullen and Lawrence Hardge. Now, the irony of the whole thing was like Lawrence Hardge was saying that he didn't want, investors to get hurt anymore. And Mullen has been doing the wrong thing by their investors. That's kind of the message he was sort of sending off. And he wants them to stop, having losses. So, Lawrence, we hear you. But at the same time, you also have David Mitri saying these same things as well. So it's kind of, both people want what's good for the shareholders, but, the actions of, I'm not really talking about Dave Mitchell, but him included in this, but Lawrence Hardge, and the fact that he's gone out and said this has probably put like a negative tone over Mullen Automotive. And that's probably what we've seen a little bit in Monday's share performance, at least initially anyway. It's kind of, the stock has kind of climbed back a bit as we reach towards the close of the session. But yeah, so as much as you've tried to help the shareholders, this whole tell-all interview, the fact that it's happened outside of the courts where there's supposed to be you know, the forum for this discussion kind of also probably doesn't look good. It's kind of makes me think that maybe Lawrence Hardge is, trying to, paint a positive image of himself before the court makes a judgment on whether he's in the right or Mullen's in the right. So I think that's what it is. He's just trying to get like the public opinion, because people will probably remember this more so than what goes on in the court. Although I think people are going to be more focused on the decision in the court rather than what's said in court, because I think the average Mullen investor isn't going to be tuning into word for word what goes down in the court when Mullen and Lawrence Hardge come together there. Anyway, I just thought I'd give my 2 cents on it. I've got a couple of minutes before I have to go get the kids up out of bed. But yeah, what do you guys think? Was Lawrence Hardge's conversation something that was useful to hear the clarity, the development of his technology and the dealings? Or do you think it's just kind of just thrown more mud across the Mullen stock and, helped to drag it down a little bit further? I always value what you guys have to say. Share it in the comments below, and until next time, may the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.